I'm back. I'm back.
Yay,
Well,
Mama D is
hey guys.
back. Happy New Year, Mama D. We missed you just tremendously last week. But
Oh, you probably all went, oh, thank God she's not here.
no, never.
Okay, I have to point something out because it's been mentioned to me, and generally I always say, when people see me and I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking over here, or I'm down on my phone, it's because I'm doing stuff that relates to the show. That I'm the technical advisor. So it's not that I'm ignoring my guests. Most of the guests know, except I didn't tell the doc today. But for those people who watch, I'm not ignoring people. Well, maybe Gina, but I can't.
I'm used to it. but she loves me and I love her, and that's all that matters in the end. All right. Tonight's guest. Now, this is an issue that I know so many women have. Both
Yep.
of us here are suffering from thyroid issues. I've got my medication here, my level thyroxine, 75 milligram. I go get blood tests, and it's like, oh, well, this isn't right. And they just up it, and then they up it, and then they up it. And it's like, I'm going again in February. I'm sure they're going to say, well, we're going to up that. It's like, well, why? I don't never get any answers. I never get any,
Yeah. It's like
reason.
how we don't know. I don't know personally. I don't know how my thyroid started and what creates the issue with thyroid. So
Right.
hopefully, Dr. Gill can
Yeah.
tell
But
us,
this
help
this
us out here.
this can cause so many issues. And after I
Sure.
read this book, I was sitting there seriously going, huh, all of the issues that I've been having for the past year, right here.
So in other words, I need to get the book, right?
Really.
Okay.
hmm
All
Yes,
right.
very, very much so. All right, so I'm going to play his bio video. We're going to get him on here because this show will only be an hour tonight. So there's going to be a lot of information given to you in this hour time. Okay, so this is him, and then he'll be with us as soon as the video ends. This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Dr. Kajiki. He is the author of Sick, Tired, Untreated, and Abandoned: How the Medical Community Fails Hashimoto's Patients and How You Can Get Your Life Back. He is a certified functional medicine practitioner, chiropractor, and patient educator with clients on 4 continents. His clientele includes celebrities, corporate leaders, women stressed by family life and work, computer programmers, athletes, homemakers, radio show hosts, administrative assistants, health practitioners, and doctors. At the Valley Thyroid Institute, he and his staff are revolutionizing the way hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroid are diagnosed and corrected using drug-free solutions. His wife became ill with what at first appeared to be Epstein-Barr. As he watched his wife's health deteriorate under the care of several doctors, Dr. Kajiki began a relentless search for answers to why his healthy wife could become so ill, and yet no one seemed to know how to care for her. After more than 2 years of tests, medication, B12 shots, and finally hospitalization, it was her husband, and not her medical provider, who came to her rescue. After countless hours of study, consultation with colleagues, and testing, Dr. Kajiki diagnosed his wife with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, an autoimmune condition that attacks the thyroid. He spent the next several months treating her autoimmune condition through natural supplements, lifestyle modifications, and dietary changes. She is now symptom-free and doesn't take any thyroid medication. Dr. Kajiki couldn't stand to think that perhaps someone else was having to go through the prolonged struggle with this condition as he and his wife had. Because of his experience, he dedicated his practice to helping Hashimoto's and low thyroid patients overcome their symptoms naturally without drugs. And we welcome you to the Fox Den. And hi, Dr. Kajiki. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Hello, Gina. Hello, Darlene.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh.
There's going to be a lot of questions. Some of them might sound silly, but for me, the only silly question is one that we don't ask.
Right.
And yeah, there's one that sort of pops off the top of my head, but I'm gonna let Gina start, and then we'll
Okay. All right. So before we get into like personal things that have happened to us, and we kind of just touched on that a little bit before the thing, but tell us about how you felt when your wife was like suffering, and and I mean, you feel helpless, right? And these doctors are doing what?
Right.
Just
Well,
patting you on the head and sending you on the way.
I,
That's how I feel.
as a chiropractor, at the time I was strictly doing chiropractic. So I was working with, back pain, neck pain, headaches, sciatica. And so this whole fatigue, weight gain, hair loss, insomnia, digestive problems, alternating depression, anxiety, that was all new to me. And I knew enough that I can't adjust my way out of that problem for her.
No.
I just like I knew what I didn't know. So it was kind of helpless with going to the so-called experts, her PCP and the endocrinologist, and them saying, it's stress. You've got two teenage kids. You're working really hard. You're traveling around the world. That's kind of natural and normal. And so it was very frustrating to hear that, like, what? You don't have an answer for this? That's your
Right.
answer?
Right.
It's stress?
Right.
It's
These are legit symptoms.
yeah.
She's suffering, and
Like,
you're going to say
so
stress.
you're telling me just to deal with it, live with it, without really saying that to us. And so it was very frustrating. And I had a lot of faith in my PCP doctor that I took her to. I knew the guy for 10 years by that time, and he just did not have a legitimate answer for me. And it was very frustrating.
Oh, I can imagine. Now you just rattled off a whole bunch of signs. So when people go to their doctors and they're saying this, like what are the most common things that people may not realize that they're suffering from something with thyroid? Is it, and all right, so there's that, and then is it like something that they have to specifically test for in your blood work to even find out?
Yeah, well, you know, as doctors, we listen to your symptoms. Your symptoms are what tell you something's not right. And very common symptoms of low thyroid function is fatigue, weight gain, depression, digestive issues, insomnia, hair loss, dry skin, heart palpitations. However, those are also the same symptom of a lot of other problems like adrenal gland dysfunction, hormone imbalance, digestive issues, anemia, Epstein-Barr. So thyroid is really complicated because you have to assume or guess that it's thyroid, and then you have to do the right thyroid tests. You have to do enough of them, and you have to read them right. And that is not happening in conventional medicine.
Mm. That is true. That is true. Now, when I went, and it was years and years ago, I didn't feel off or anything. And my doctor, at the time, she was a woman. I was up in Massachusetts at the time, and she's like, "Oh, you need to start taking thyroid medication. Your levels are off," and blah blah blah. I'm like, "Okay." I didn't feel really anything, and then I start taking the medication. I don't feel any different. I'm like, "What is this doing anything? What is this supposed to make me feel different?"
Right. Because she guessed that it was thyroid, and it obviously was not thyroid, which is why when you took the medication, it didn't do anything because it was something else. And I talk about that something else in my book, and I call them triggers. And triggers are body dysfunctions that very closely mimic a thyroid problem, but isn't a thyroid problem.
Yeah.
So these triggers, they look like a thyroid problem, they feel like a thyroid problem, they act like a thyroid problem, they have the exact same symptoms as a thyroid problem, but
Yep.
it's not a thyroid problem, it's trigger. So poor people like you take your medication and you still feel lousy because it's probably not a thyroid problem.
Oy vey. It's like, where do you go from there? Carl says, my husband found out that he had thyroid cancer, and they found it when they did an ultrasound. That's
So
that's
how
morning, Scott.
yeah, How prevalent is thyroid cancer? Like we've heard, there's 100 bajillion different cancers, but thyroid cancer, how?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know the exact statistics of that. And hopefully people catch that before they come to me.
Mhm.
But I would say in my 14 years of doing functional medicine and working with Hashimoto's and low thyroid, I've probably only come across 3 cases where there's been active thyroid cancer. And that's of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases.
Yeah. Now,
Right.
what's the difference between hyperthyroidism and the just the high thyroid?
High low. Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go, high low.
So
What's the difference?
hyper means fast.
Okay.
Hypo means slow. So when you hear hyperthyroid, it's fast thyroid.
Okay.
When you hear hypothyroid, it's slow thyroid. Now, the
Okay.
way you determine that on a lab test is a test called TSH. So TSH
Yeah.
is your thyroid stimulating hormone.
Mhm.
So if your TSH is low, this is where it's confusing. It's backwards. If your TSH is low, you have fast thyroid.
So
If
if
your
it's low,
TSH
it's
is
hyper, and if it's high, it's hypo.
hypo, right.
Okay.
Now, here's what people don't know. TSH is not a thyroid hormone.
Why do they do
Why are they testing that?
test?
TSH is a pituitary hormone. It's
No, but that is not here.
yes. So your pituitary gland detects how much thyroid hormone is in your system, and then if you're low on thyroid hormone, it says, "Hey, thyroid gland, let out more hormone." So it's making you do thyroid more stimulation hormone.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it's the pituitary gland that talks to the thyroid gland, and that TSH number is a reflection of how the pituitary gland's talking to the thyroid gland. It is not really a thyroid hormone.
Okay. Cool. And I know when I had when they first diagnosed me with hyperthyroidism, I had they call them goiters, but lumps in my throat.
Right.
And we'll say 3 weeks after I started taking my medication, it was like, God, I was like, okay, I'm happy, you know.
Yeah.
But is that one of the things when it's hyper, is you have the throat, or is that something that works with both?
So I didn't see the test, but here's what I think happened.
Okay.
Okay, is that true goiters don't change in size. They're very hard. They're very calloused. They almost feel like a clam on your thyroid gland.
Yeah.
They don't change in size. So when people tell me my goiter shrunk, what I'm really hearing is you had inflammation in your thyroid gland.
Okay.
You
Push
did
them out.
something to make that inflammation go down. And so now your whole thyroid gland went down. And so your impression of this goiter that got smaller, it didn't get smaller. It's just your entire thyroid gland had less inflammation.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, okay.
So the only way you know if your goiter really shrinks in size is it before and after ultrasound.
Okay. No, ultrasounds when I was pregnant, not in my throat.
Right.
Now
Right.
you yelled at me before the show. Not really.
He did, and I was like,
He was just very. He's 100% honest, you know. And I said, you know, like lately I have been with the acid and the, you know, losing my voice and the acid burning my throat, and I did this big regimen, big diet change, and then I was doing so much better, happy belly, everything, you know, all this stuff, eating all the right foods. Then the holidays came, and he's like, "You ate bad," and I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, then you deserve it."
yeah.
So it's because I've been suffering, and I really have. This week especially has been really bad. So like, I'll admit, this is it. I'm like, no more. I can't eat any
Okay, so
bad
hey,
things.
doctor, if she misbehaves, I'm gonna send you an email. She did it again.
Well, you know, here and there, maybe a little tiny something, but you know, but very rarely. But I mean, it's just if I don't have it there, I won't eat it. If it's not in the house, I won't eat it.
So
Exactly.
hence, in my house, there's no more chocolate.
Yes. Yes. We gave away all of our holiday candy, treats, stuff like that. We just gave it away.
Right. Well, that's why you buy it anyway, right? To give it away. So it's like, why have this stockpile? Bob and I had like a mountain. Well, we had so many kids, but
For
we
Halloween, yeah.
almost ran out. I mean, I ended up taking bags apart and handing one at a time because we have a big, huge Halloween display, so we have just hundreds of kids come, and now they love it, but this year I was like going, I don't want to have too much candy left over. I almost ran out. Like,
She does, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
I do and I don't.
Is
I don't now.
Is there any particular food that really interacts with thyroid? Whether it's hyper
Okay, so there are different foods for different people that react with thyroid negatively.
Okay.
So even though it's considered quote unquote a health food, some people, tomatoes is a problem. Some people, grains are a problem. Some people, nightshades are a problem. Some people, soy. Some people, dairy, right? So everyone's different. But I'll tell you this for sure. When it comes down to Hashimoto's,
Okay.
and Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition, not a thyroid condition. We can talk more about that in a little bit. But 80% of all the low thyroid cases are Hashimoto's in nature. Okay. So if you tell me you have low thyroid function and I see that your TSH is high, there's an 80% probability you have autoimmune Hashimoto's. So now I know it's an immune system problem more than a thyroid problem.
Right.
Gluten to Hashimoto's is like jet fuel on fire.
Wow. Yeah, I can't have red meat. I can't have dairy. I can't have all those grains. Well, plus I also have diverticulosis. I was the one without the infection, the disease without the infection. So there's so many things I can't eat for different reasons. But it just makes acid, burns my throat. It's just,
well, when in cases like yours, Gina, when people say, "Look, I can't, I can only eat 5 different foods," like they're so restricted. I can tell you this: it's probably not so much the food is the problem as your digestive tract and your immune system reaction to those foods.
Is there help?
So, yeah, so you get your immune system fixed up, you get your gut fixed up, you get it clear of all the infections, get your your gut digestive enzymes in order, fix your gut healing, your gut lining, you will probably be able to tolerate more foods. So that's my sign to me when people say, I could only eat 5 things. I know it's probably a gut issue involved more than a food issue.
It's just so much acid. You know what I mean? It's just between I can't have seeds and I can't have things like that for diverticulosis, arthritis, whatever it is. Not a doctor. I know I can't have nuts. I can't have seeds. I can't have. When I found this out, no popcorn. Popcorn's like number 1 on the list. No, right? We had just gone. I went to the movies with my grandson and my daughter like the day before that I found out that I had this. And they said, number 1 on the list, don't eat popcorn. We ate the giantest thing of popcorn because my grandson kept taking handfuls of it and stuffing it in my face and stuffing it in her face. And he was so cute, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat for a month because we ate so much popcorn. And I'm like, oh, yay, good. So I'm glad that I'm not supposed to eat this since we just ate a mountain of it. But so I'm learning. It's like, now does a nutritionist know about these things? Do you have certain nutritionists that help?
My experience is that nutritionists don't understand the physiology of thyroid and physiology of autoimmunity. And it's not enough. Nutrition is not enough. Okay, so there are these triggers that I talk, and I think it's worth mentioning right now. So I talked about those triggers that look like a thyroid problem, but it's not. So that is anemia, blood sugar instability, adrenal gland dysfunction, hormone imbalance, inflammation, gastrointestinal problems, food sensitivities, chemical sensitivities, and hidden infections. Okay. A nutritionist tells you about what kind of macronutrient ratio, carbs, fat, protein, what kind of minerals, enzymes, but they don't understand about food sensitivity. And that's only one of those 9 triggers.
Wow.
So food is not enough. You can have a great diet, but if you've got those other triggers, it's not enough.
Wow. So I'm going to catch up on these comments going on here. Carmen says she has stage 2 thyroid cancer and being treated for it. Sharon says she was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but the doctor gave her a thyroid medication. Colette said they aren't going to remove the thyroid. Colette, your husband's thyroid, you mean?
No, I think she's talking to Carmen.
Oh, okay. Maya's bad acid reflux. Yes, I cut food in half. Oh my God, it's just brutal. I can't take it. At least I take, really, seriously, famotidine 40 milligrams. I take meprazole 40 milligrams twice a day, famotidine once a day. So it's 40, 40, 40. And that interferes with levothyroxine. They're like, don't take that together. Well, how am I supposed to take it? You know? I have literally, look at it, right? This is my day. This is a food group for me. This is breakfast. Okay.
So the comment that you posted up about the person who said they have Hashimoto's, but all they were given was thyroid medication.
Right.
I think that's worth taking some time to expand on.
Okay.
Okay. So if you get your opinions from conventional medicine, meaning you go to the endocrinologist, the GPs, the gynecologist, the MDs, the PCPs, you use your insurance, you pay a small copay, you have to understand and accept the fact that they are influenced by the pharmaceutical and insurance companies. Okay? Everybody has agreed with that. Okay.
Yes.
So what that means is your only choices for treatment, if you go to them, will be medication, radiation, or surgery. There is no other treatments for thyroid. None. And they are only going to do the testing that supports medication, radiation, and surgery. There's no need to do 10 thyroid tests if 3 of them are going to tell you if you need medication. Because there is no medication for Hashimoto's, they are going to give you thyroid medication for your immune system problem, which is why it doesn't work. So you have to deal with that and accept that that's the way it is and continue to get frustrated, or you go outside of that kind of medical model to people like me. I don't take any insurance, so I can't be influenced by the insurance companies. They can't tell me what to do. They can't tell me what's approved. And I treat naturally, so you can't, the pharmaceutical companies can't influence me. So I can truly get to the root cause of the problem. And in more cases than not, these conventional medicine doctors are trying to use a thyroid medication to treat an immune system problem. That's the entire reason why my wife left her endocrinologist and I had to fix her.
I think I really hope, I'm hoping, because I'm going to do this. Now, if you log on valleythyroidinstitute.com,
there's a link in the chat.
You can get a free, 30-minute?
Free 15-minute consultation with me.
15-minute with him. I want to do this. I need this. I really do. Because I want to, I need to feel better. And also you can go to drkajiki.com, and that's where a lot of links to his book, links to different, all kinds of,
like I have a downloaded video series.
Yeah.
And, some people, they just want to get right to it and go, look, I'm just sick of being sick. I'm just going to do this 30-minute consultation. It's $97, and I will tell you what the next step is.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? People pay that for co-pays like nothing, right? And to have someone that is not regimented and geared up to, do this,
right,
get you on all this stuff. And then they say, once you take it, don't stop taking it, scare you, you know, so that you don't stop taking it, and of course we all like little sheep, okay, and I'm still suffering, so yeah, I want to come to the bottom of this. I've been doing so many tests. So many nuclear tests and everything else under the sun. I had a 3.5, 4-hour MRI, all at once. I mean, we closed the building down, and the machine got really hot by the time it was done with
I'm
this
sleeping
MRI.
through it.
And it's like, well, if they're not looking, would Hashimoto's show up on an MRI?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, how does it show up? How do we know? Just
There's
because of
only
the symptoms?
you can't go off of symptoms, okay?
Mhm.
Because they mimic everything else. So there's 2 tests you can do. One's called a thyroid peroxidase, TPO antibody test, and the other one's called an antithyroglobulin antibody test. The reason that conventional medicine doctors don't run that test or won't run them is because it doesn't matter if you have Hashimoto's or not, they're still going to give you thyroid medication.
Yeah.
So there's no need to run the test from their perspective.
Okay.
So for you to get that test, I mean, can we go to our doctor to get a blood test, and you can request to get these things, or how do we get this test?
You have to go. You have to not go to that doctor, and you have to just take your care to me. There's no way that you're going to say, "Hey, tell me what tests I need," and then I'm going to have my doctor get those tests. They won't.
Oh, okay. All right. So you do prescribe.
I can do all the testing.
Okay.
So here's my question. You're in Colorado, correct? Okay. So I'm in Canada, and Gina's in Pennsylvania. If we have the consultation with you, somebody calls up and says, I want the consultation. Most of these tests have to be done in-house.
In-house meaning in the doctor's office or in your own home?
With you.
No. Well, I work with a company called LabCorp.
Okay.
And there are hundreds and hundreds of LabCorps across the country.
Okay.
So if you're domestic, it's pretty easy for me to send you a lab order and you get a blood panel where you live. If you're in Canada, I've worked with several people in Canada, because you're under the universal healthcare system, you're really screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Everybody thinks that getting free healthcare is great. Well, it is great until it doesn't work.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because now that it doesn't work, now you have 0 choices, because they won't do anything that they don't feel is unnecessary. So my Canadian people, they've had to drive into the States to get their blood work done.
Well, see, there's another reason for you to move to Pennsylvania.
Somewhere across the border, if they let me.
Yeah. So that's how we work with Canadian patients is they have to drive down. Okay.
So, but for U.S. citizens, people in the U.S., you can send them to whoever it is,
right,
type of thing. Okay.
The exception is this: New York, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. Those 3 states, they don't allow you to order lab testing unless you're a resident there and you have a office and a license there. So
we're all just going to give Gina's address.
So they have to go to Pennsylvania or Maine or Connecticut or just an adjacent state.
Yeah, well, Rhode Island you can probably walk through. I mean, it's small. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not hard to get out of that.
But
New
I'm
York,
telling you, it's pretty simple to get the testing.
Okay, that's awesome. So now, when you change people's diets, all right, now how is this like? I mean, do you give like programs for people to follow, meal plans, what to eat, what not to eat, things like that?
A little both. So there's different kinds of eating plans, right? There's paleo, there's Whole30, there's intermittent fasting. I mean, there's all kinds of eating plans. So
no idea what any of those are.
Okay. Well, a lot of people want to know what to do before they know what's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it all the time on these 15-minute calls. Hey, what do I eat? What supplements do I take? I don't know. I don't even know what's wrong. So I got to know what's wrong before I know what to do. That's why it's important to do the lab testing. So the lab tests tell me which of those triggers do you have. They tell me what kind of eating plan do you get put on. They tell me what could you not eat, what can you eat, and it tells me what types of supplements to give you without guessing.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, all the supplements are all natural, all organic?
I don't know if they're all organic, but they're all natural. They're all a combination of vitamins, minerals, herbs, enzymes, amino acids. These supplement companies, they have just as much of a supply problem as any other company.
Yeah.
So they don't oftentimes have a choice where they want to get their supplies from. So sometimes it's organic, sometimes it's not.
Let's see. Carmen has been talking a lot about her thyroid cancer throughout the comments here, and she says, "I don't have an eating plan. I eat what I want, but I can't eat as much." Now, is there, say, someone like Carmen who has thyroid cancer, or Colette's husband who was just diagnosed, would it be beneficial for them to get in touch with you to help? I mean, to change your diet and everything. Of course, don't you think that that would make it easier to go through whatever treatment that you need to for the cancer with a regimen in place?
Well, that's what I would think. But if you talk to a thyroid oncologist, they don't think diet has anything to do with it.
But
They
it's like
think
it's
that
because
all you need to do is get surgery or get radiation or get chemo, and that's the end of it.
okay.
My position on that is, cancer, it's been
Could be
proven through research, cancer loves
sugar.
sweets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They love sugar. They thrive on sugar. And what people
Okay.
don't understand is sugar is not just candy and soda pop and sweet things. Sugar is carbohydrates. It's bread, it's pasta, it's muffins, it's potato chips,
It's carrots.
it's carrots, it's
Carrots?
sweet
Carrots are
potato.
the sweetest vegetable going. They are the
Yes, it's carbohydrates.
so when people
Those
are on a
all
diet
turn
or
into
whatever and
sugar.
they're eating carrot sticks, nah.
Yes.
Ah,
So I'm really sorry that your doctor said you could eat whatever you want, even though you have thyroid cancer. If it were my patient, I would advise against that.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
because to
I'm
me, it
sorry,
just makes
I have
sense
to.
that you, oh, sorry, that you would be eating better, staying
She's
away from
I'm
sugar.
not staying away from sugar. I
Yeah.
totally understand you, Carmen. I am a chocoholic. If it's in my house, I will eat it. Example, did work for a client, and because they were friends, I wouldn't allow them to pay me. So they sent me 10 pounds of chocolate, and I hid it in my office, and I ate the whole damn thing. I was sick as a dog, but I knew what I was in for. I knew, but it's just So you learn to not have things in your house like carrots. It's rare that I'll make carrots because I know it's no good.
I
And
had no idea. All right. So, see, I am so bad with nutrition. I mean, I am like worse than a 2-year-old when it comes to nutrition. I
So
walk down the supermarket, I get so frustrated and so upset and so like, F this, I'm leaving. All right.
okay. So let me present this situation to you and your listeners. Okay. If your 2-year-old daughter had your condition, would you feed them the way you eat?
nope.
Okay. See how simple that was?
Right. 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 Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. She says I can't. Sugar's my weakness. I'll go. I got you.
It's an
Yeah.
addiction.
It's
It's an
an
addiction
addiction.
like
It's
any
like
other.
I get it, but if my 2-year-old daughter had thyroid cancer, I don't care how much of an addiction they have. They're
Mm.
not getting it.
Yep. Yeah, I have an addictive personality. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, and it can be anything that makes us feel better.
Right.
That's an addiction.
Right.
Sugar is definitely on the, high end of that list.
Yeah.
And if it is in the house, I will eat it. And I can't, and I'll obsess over it. Hot tamales. I cannot, absolutely cannot open a box and eat a couple tamales. I do not stop until that box is empty. Why? I don't know. It's I don't know. It's just like, please stop. I try to stop. I try to put it over there. And it's like, I know this the box is open and I have to eat them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
for me, I've learned that I have issues with my stomach, and I have no idea if it's connected to my thyroid or whatever. But I know my stomach is like, it's cranky, and so I know one day I'll be able to eat something, next day I can't. That's how weird my stomach is. So I will be very careful what I bring into the house because my husband's on a special diet. So what I know that he can eat and I can't, I just put it on his side of the table. Go here, dude. You can have it.
Yep.
And just keep the hell away from me. So it's something that you have to learn. I can't
Yep.
drink alcohol. Physically makes me sick. So
Yep, that too. But I was going to put that one up after this because it's Carmen again. She says she has to watch spices though. She can do mild, not extreme. Same here. I can't do anything really spicy. It'll kill me. And then can't drink alcohol because it physically makes you sick. Yep, me too. I will. It's horrible.
alcohol is sugar. Yes.
Absolutely.
If I drink, you'll know I drink or spicy food because my
Red,
nose and
yeah.
I go like red little tomato.
Yeah.
I'm a redhead, so it doesn't
Yeah,
take much
and
for me.
then just so sick.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. So I don't, and alcohol, I don't miss. I don't, food. Yeah. And then I'm lazy too. And I just don't know. I don't know. I thought carrots were good. I'd be eating carrots. Like if I think, oh, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to get carrot sticks, celery sticks, and, things like that. And I
Celery
don't
is good for you,
broccoli
but
anymore.
carrots not so much.
Oh, can I, what I wanted to ask you? You see on TV all these things like super beets, the supplements like that. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
It depends what your goal is. I mean, if your goal is to raise your blood sugar levels, that's probably a great thing.
Oh, that's good sugar too? That's all sugar?
That's all sugar.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. So, I mean, out of all the foods, there's no like just one superfood.
There's no one superfood. Here's the best kind of foods to eat. Okay? Anything that doesn't have a label with an ingredient list on it, or if it does have a label, it has one ingredient on it.
Okay, whatever it is that it's supposed to be.
Chicken, broccoli, beef. Okay? If it has multiple ingredients, the more it has, the worse it is for you.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to eat red meat anymore.
Whole natural foods that have one ingredient on it.
I'm supposed to eat so plain and blah. It's like, well, then what's the, just white rice, no brown rice, no, like I'm not supposed to have, I can have potatoes, but no potato skins, things like that. Like the list was like endless of what I can't eat. I'm like, why am I looking at this? Just give me the list of things that I can eat.
That I can eat, yeah.
Or the belly issues between the acid and the diverticulosis. And
start with foods that only have one ingredient on it.
okay, one ingredient. That's a good thing to go by. One ingredient. I'm writing that.
What about eggs?
Ingredient. What about what? Sorry?
Eggs.
Eggs. Eggs is different for different people.
I love eggs.
Some people are sensitive to the yolk. Some people are sensitive to the white. Some people are sensitive to, over easy. Some people are sensitive to hard boiled. Now with eggs, the protein structure is what the problem is. So you're sensitive to the protein of the yolk or sensitive to the protein of the white, but temperature makes a difference. So you may be okay with hard boiled whites, but not okay with over easy whites.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on person to person.
Yeah.
Is this a thing too? That's person to person. Rice that gives you gas, because like when I eat bad, that's what happens. Things turn into gas, and it's like painful and gas, and
Well, I think that's an individual situation because rice doesn't give me gas at all.
Well, rice, rice. Okay. She says that.
But if you're finding that carbohydrates, fruits, or sugars give you digestive issues, you should be thinking that there's some kind of like an overgrowth of a bacteria, like a SIBO of some sort. There's something where your body does not like the sugar and the carbohydrates, and it's letting you know.
Does the sugar in what we eat have an effect on thyroid?
I'm going to say not directly. I mean, there's like we said, there's sugar in carrots, but eating carrots isn't going to make your thyroid gland go bad.
Yeah.
But if you're eating carrots with potatoes and rice and rolls, Probably.
Yeah, okay, fine. Just made me happy.
No, and Karen says she
Okay,
used to be able to
so
eat pickles, but she can't eat pickles anymore.
yeah.
Like, yeah, well, I mean, these are the things we have to learn. What you can and
Is
can't
there
eat.
such a thing as growing into food allergies because you overeat them?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Because I tell patients, you can become sensitive to any food if you eat it too often.
Okay.
So this is why we tell people to eat the rainbow, because you have diversity in your color, you have diversity in your types of food, and you don't get too caught up in any one food. And yes, you can become sensitive to that food.
Yeah, one ingredient rainbow.
Yeah.
I like that. That makes it simple enough.
Yep. But you know what? If you guys are suffering with these symptoms and like are wondering, this is a great book to read because it really clears up a lot of things. It's a lot of his story and it's very personal. It's a personal thing. I feel like I know you after reading the book before I even met you, and your struggles and what you went through and, all the research that you did and what you found out and, how you came to your wife's rescue. And because you were with her constantly, because that's the thing. Doctors come in, you tell them a whole bunch of things, you try to write things down, you forget half of them, and then they pull
Yeah,
out their
because you can't record the conversation.
write you something, pat you on the head, and send you on your way. But now here you are, you're living with your wife. So all of a sudden, if a symptom comes up in the middle of the night, say, you're there, you can document it. It's like, oh, okay, well, now we have to address this, and so that you know, that is why you are the perfect person to go to help everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
lived it.
truly do understand. Like a lot of men, especially men doctors, they don't understand because their wives don't have this. But
Yeah.
I really do understand. I went through the struggle from a healthy woman to a sick woman to a healthy woman. I understand it. I get it. I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to have my energy back again. It's just like I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I can't do anything anymore. And I used to run circles around, the young
Everybody.
people. That's what I say. You know what I mean? Like I would be the boss on a construction job and I would run circles around the men that I hired, you
Mhm.
know? And now it's like I'm huffing and puffing going upstairs, but that's because I got COPD and emphysema. So, hey, there's a lot of things. I have a lot of health issues, but it's just, it gets so depressing. And then you don't know if you're depressed just because I feel like all I do is testing. Go for this test, go for that test. Now they want me to do a pH test for the acid, which is a scope down your nose into your belly for 24 to 48 hours. Like, really?
Yeah.
That and another test. I'm just like, why? Why? I've done all these other tests. Yes, there's acid. You just can't fix this. Is there no fix for anything? you know,
You have to marry a doctor. Make Bob go to medical school.
Bob has to go to medical school now.
And you got to know what's wrong before you know what to do. So unfortunately, testing is
Exactly.
part of the process.
And so everybody who's listening to us, whether you're
Yes.
here on our live show or listening to it on our anchor venues, check out valleythyroidinstitute.com. You get a free 15-minute phone consultation with Dr. I keep coming to call you Dr. Gill.
It's easy.
Okay, Dr. Gill. And it's a starting place. Get the book, have that free consultation. It's a starting place.
Yeah.
And there's George, my B12 came.
Yeah, but B12 is what his wife was doing as well. They kept giving her B12 shots, and then that would last for all of what, an hour, and then she'd go right back to feeling like that.
Yeah, there is no one treatment for everybody. Everybody has different triggers. Everybody has different thyroid conditions or different autoimmunities. So in my clinic, every treatment is customized and personalized to that person. So Everyone has a unique case. Everyone is treated individually.
That makes sense.
Wow.
That's kind of what we all hope for. It's not always the case,
Right.
but in your case,
Yeah.
it is.
It's very rarely the case in conventional medicine.
No. Now, functional medicine. Explain what a functional medicine is.
Yeah, so what we do as functional medicine does is we're looking at the function of the body. We're not necessarily looking for disease and pathology. So in conventional medicine, they're looking for disease and pathology, and they resolve it with medication or surgery. Sometimes you're not quite at the disease state. You're at the I'm ill, I don't feel good state. And so your lab tests may not come out abnormal, but you still feel lousy. So this is where I come in, is I want to prevent that condition from furthering and becoming an illness. And so I catch it when it's dysfunctional, not diseased.
But I mean, because now when you were saying your doctors were telling you your wife was under a lot of stress. Now, stress does pose a lot of health issues in a body. There's no doubt. All right, that's been proven. But her issues were not all stress. She was getting more stressed because she's not getting any answers.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and yeah, stress is real, but what are you going to do about your stress? Right? You can't avoid the stress. You can perceive the stress differently, and you can react to the stress differently, but you can't change the stress.
No.
So understand that stress is also not just emotional and psychological. It's chemical, it's physical, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's environmental. So those are all stresses, and your brain perceives a stress the same way as it does an emergency. So you may be stressed because you can't pay a bill or you're late to work, but your brain thinks you're being chased by a lion.
Yeah.
Bills are lions in this case. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So Colette has asked, what food out there doesn't have sugar?
Chicken.
Chicken. I can eat chicken. I ate chicken actually tonight. Yeah, I can eat chicken. I can eat pork too, though. And her cardiologist gave her a statin. He said too many. He said to prevent my first heart attack.
Great. Show me the research on that.
What's a statin?
Show me.
I'm on statin.
It's a cholesterol drug.
Oh, okay.
So great. Yeah. Show me the research that's not sponsored by pharmaceutical companies that proves to me that taking statins will prevent heart attacks.
Yeah, well, one doctor put me on low dose aspirin.
I doubt that though. I doubt that one will come up because there hasn't been one published.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard that one. I am on a statin. They told me to start taking it, and once again, another one. Yeah. You start taking it. Don't not take this.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not saying don't take the statin. I'm saying if this is true, show me the research on it, and if that applies to me, then I'll feel more comfortable about taking it. But just to blankly say take a statin to prevent a heart attack, show me the research on that.
Yeah, I never heard of that one at all. But if they did, give you a high cholesterol rating, I would say that's probably more so why you're on a statin than a heart attack. Maybe that's one of the things that with the treating the high cholesterol could prevent a heart attack. I don't know. I don't know why I was put on it. They just said, oh, it's high, take this.
It's because they're influenced by the pharmaceutical and insurance companies.
Yep. I just fill the box with all kinds of stuff. I got fish oil and vitamin D and the statin and hormones and my meprozoles and just it's a handful every morning, and all the others, and the breathing and everything else. I feel like I'm a walking pharmacy, and it's got to stop. That's what I think. It just has to stop.
So I see a lot of comments being posted. Are there any questions that people have?
I know there's a lot of comments.
A lot of the comments are about the B12.
I'm going to bring Gina in.
Okay, bring Gina in. About B12 and about cancer.
This is Gil.
Dr. Kajiki.
Hello, Doctor. How are you this evening?
Great, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Likewise. I love all of this on your show. It's all about taking your power back, isn't it?
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
It is a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's a
he loves
hard
it
choice.
when you don't do it. he will put you in your place.
So
but
will
yeah,
your body.
yeah. If you guys have a question, do you realize that we've been almost yapping for a whole hour already, and it's almost time
Hi,
for
baby.
Gil to be leaving us, and Athena will be closing out the show with her crystal of the week. But you know, these all right, we talked about triggers, and all right, what would be, I say we consult with you and we find out we have Hashimoto's, okay, for sure. What is the best supplement to take, and is it a special thing?
There is no best. Everyone's different. Some people need fish oil. Some people need turmeric. Some people need Cerephos. Some people need digestive enzymes. Everyone's different.
So it's just more testing. So you try this, test, see how it works.
Right.
Like, how long would you have to be on something before you get a test to see if it's working?
Probably 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, that's about what it is with the normal thyroid test.
Yeah.
You mentioned turmeric. There's a question that I've since you brought it up, I'm going to post. I drink turmeric tea. And somebody said you need pepper or something to activate it.
Almost true.
Okay.
Almost true.
But does that work only as supplements or
black
only?
pepper helps the absorption of turmeric into your body.
Okay.
It helps the absorption. You can still take turmeric without black pepper and it will work. But if you have it with black pepper, it helps the absorption.
So like when I make my turmeric tea with the pepper,
a couple grinds of pepper in there.
Yeah, just a dash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually it has pepper in it for a lot of the supplements. It already has pepper included.
Natural turmeric.
Right. The good supplements have pepper in it already.
Okay.
That's neat. I see, again, things I don't know. I have a long list of things I don't know, especially when it comes to nutrition and supplements and things like that.
Okay, we'll get you healthy.
I've been trying for years. I think Gil might be my answer.
Athena, you missed the beginning of the show. Before we got on the show, she said something about her stomach and everything being bad, the stuff that she ate. And Gil says, I have no pity for you. You know it's not doing you any good, but you're still eating that stuff. It's like, I'm like,
yeah. You did bad and you're suffering, right? Yep, you deserve it.
Exactly.
But you can get this book on Amazon, but you can go also to drkajiki.com. If you go to valleythyroidinstitute.com, you can get that free 15-minute consultation with Dr. Gil there and find out, if this is the right thing for you.
And it's a good place to start. If you have doubts, 15 minutes on the phone. I can spend hours on the phone with Gina. But 15 minutes and it's a beginning. It's a starting point. Right. So why not?
Exactly. That's all it is. It's a starting point. It's not going to be the end all be all.
No, he's not going to cure you then, there, and on the spot. It's going to take time, but you have to start somewhere.
Right.
The phone call and the book.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing is everybody wants that instant fix. Like you think, oh, I'm sick. Let me just take this pill. And then we're not taking into consideration the side effects that go with that pill. Yeah. And even with the pill, it's not always, a quick fix, an instant fix. You end up with all these other things. So I always try personally, having gone through what I have, to try to tackle it naturally, looking up on, earthclinic.com is one where you look up, put in your element. What are other people trying that you can try? Going to see the good doctor here. Like he can give you some ideas. And then this kind of sets your journey because it's not a quick fix, but it takes a lot longer to heal if you're staying in the box. You got to think outside the box a little bit. Your body is a healing vessel. That's what it's made for. So
I mean,
Gotta
and
let
these
it-
doctors, they're not gods, you know, and we give them that status, you know, again, it's our own fault for doing that. Now, Carmen, again, she's like a mess. I feel like, you know, we're soul sisters, Carmen, because we're both a mess, right? She's on level, right? And she takes medication for her acid reflux. Yep, me too, me too. I just don't have anxiety meds. You know, so she takes Xanax for that. It's like once you get, to the point where you are healthy gut and all this stuff, you can get rid of these things. Yes. I mean, we can stop taking these other medications.
There's been a lot of people that I've got them off their proton pump inhibitors. Now,
Wow.
you know, I can't legally tell people to start it, stop it, or change it, but if they get to the point to where they feel like, hey, maybe I don't need this, and they start trying it on their own, cutting back, and then finally telling the doctor, I don't think I need this. Yeah, a lot of people have gotten off their proton pump inhibitors.
Mm.
That's amazing. That's great.
And everything is where you have to do it, whether you choose to do it or your doctor does it. Never stop something cold turkey.
Right.
Right.
Just bring it down gradually, because then you'll notice if there's a difference.
Yeah.
You know, for me, there was something I was taking, and the doctor was like, "Oh, this is what you need. You'll feel much better." Blah blah blah. And I didn't see a difference, so I slowly, gradually reduced what I was taking, and I didn't see any difference. So when I finally, after 2 months of reducing my shit, my pharmacist kind of goes, "Why aren't you?" And I went, "Because it didn't do anything for me." And they have our pharmacists up here in Canada are a whole lot better than the doctors, the medical thing. They ask questions, and when I spoke to my pharmacist, I've had him for as long as I've been up here, and which is 30 some odd years. He said, "You did it the right way. You did it slowly, gradually. You didn't just go, gone."
All right, I'm sorry, Mama, but we are at 8:57. What I'm going to do right now, real quick, is I'm going to play Athena's video. She's going to do her crystal. If you guys had any other like last second question, but you know, Dr. Gill is going to have to be leaving us too. So shortly after Athena is finished, we are going to have to say buonanotte, everybody. So I'm going to just play that right now. This is the crystal of the week. We're going to give her the
floor.
But stay, Gil. Okay. All right. We'll be back.
Yay! I'm so grateful to be back here on the Fox Den for another segment of our Crystal of the Week. I am Athena Barry, Crystal Reiki Master, author of Raise Your Vibes and now Raise Your Vibes Crystal Cards, and creator of CrystalReikiHealer.com. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am just so pleased to be sharing new crystal with you each week here in the Fox Den. So let's get into it, because I know we're running out of time here. So for this week's show, especially having a chiropractor on the show today as a guest, I really felt called to the energy of blue apatite, both for, from a personal point of view, personal focus, as well as for your highest good. And I have a huge chunk for you just here, which I will get into in a second. But as some of you may know, or if you don't know, I had a very, very invasive, insane spinal fusion surgery a few years ago, several years ago now. And I used this crystal especially to help me heal. What I didn't realize at the time when I was going through the healing process was how influential this crystal would be as for my future as a healer, an author, and a creator in the spiritual world. Apatite is this incredible multifaceted crystal. So physically, it helps our body to absorb calcium, kind of like our pepper for our turmeric, right? As well as supporting, our cartilage, our bones, our teeth, joint issues, easing, teething problems. You hear about amber for teething. Appetite is also really wonderful, especially for growing pains in kids, for all those parents out there. It helps our immune system. So it helps to lower blood pressure, strengthen our muscular tone and our muscles, our tissue, and also helps to soothe headaches or feelings of vertigo. So anybody who's having struggles with that, this is really great, as well as stimulating our eyesight. My eyesight is now better than it was before my surgery. Maybe it was from appetite. I'm not sure, but it's gotten better. So when you have a spinal fusion like I did, or any other very serious, illness like many we've seen in the comments here, what your doctors often don't tell you, what my doctors didn't tell me, is that, yes, they're going to give you this medication. Yes, they're going to remove all the offending parts, especially back surgery. And a huge part of why these surgeries fail is because your aftercare, your body actually has to do the healing. It's not the surgery that fixed me, right? It's afterwards when the body has to grow bone, which seems like kind of a mind-boggling thing. I felt so betrayed when I got out of surgery. Like, what do you mean? You didn't fix me? I have to do it myself? And there, my healing journey really kicked off. So I used appetite a lot together infused with Reiki, of course, because that's, what I do. And I used, my affirmations. I have so many wonderful rituals for healing that are in my own book, Raise Your Vibes. And every single one of them were a huge part of my own healing journey. Natural ways, like gifts from Mother Earth, to help you heal and to take your power back on your healing journey. Because we, as we had said earlier, we tend to pass our power off, telling somebody, please fix me. And you have to fix yourself. And that's maybe one of the bigger struggles. And appetite is wonderful for helping you to do this. Emotionally, appetite crystal, it helps you to clear away any confusion, right? So if you're struggling, you don't know what's best, appetite really helps to clear that out and help you to connect to that inner knowledge, that your body's own knowledge of what is good for you, your higher selves. It's so intuitive. It's so intelligent if we just give it the time and the space that it needs to allow us to heal. And appetite helps us to overcome those negative fears, those doubts in our mind, and clear away all that nonsense, that goes on, so we can really focus in on that intuitive truth. Likewise, it helps with exhaustion, irritability, feeling, aggressive, especially, I know when you're in pain, when you're not feeling good, we get irritable, we tend to take it out on those around us, and appetite really helps us to kind of seal that up, let it go, so we're more calm, we're centered, and we can focus on our healing rather than our irritability, if that makes sense. So, many of us also, we suffer to find our place in the world. So those that are not dealing with pain or illness, maybe it's just finding your place. And we have this idea that you have to work so hard to make anything happen. And we let go of the idea of divine timing, and that putting in that work and manifesting together with it, our dreams can come true, and we don't have to suffer to make them come true. And appetite is really, really wonderful as a nice, gentle reminder that we can do that, and we're fully capable of taking our power back emotionally, physically, spiritually. Spiritually, appetite is really nice for cleansing. It cleanses our auric field so much on a vibrational level, so that we're able to have intuitive clarity. For those of you in the paranormal realm, this is great for, again, that vision, psychic vision, and your physical vision, right? It helps us in that see clear what's going on, communicate, activating that throat chakra, great for communicating, lucid dreaming, astral travel, tapping into your psychic abilities, so you really understand and kind of resonate with your own inner truth instead of doubting yourself. It activates our third eye and our throat chakra, so they work really well. It can also support your thyroid. So if you've got some thyroid issues going on, again, it really helps with this whole area. I know that's come up a bit tonight's show too. As far as communication go and spiritually, it allows others to have, a better understanding of where we're coming from and what we're talking about, so that it, makes sense on the physical plane. So often what we're trying to communicate doesn't quite reach the other person. So if you're holding onto a piece of apatite, that can really help. Ways you can work with this crystal: it's excellent to keep in your kitchen, your dining room, and your bedroom. It's wonderful for spiritual baths. I love them in my crystal grids, of course, for myself and my clients. And of course, I always keep them tucked into my bra or, in a pocket, in a handbag, while you meditate, under your pillow while you sleep. During my own healing phase, that's when I acquired this baby here, because it was so great for bone. I kept it next to my bedside table because I was like, I'll take all the help that I can get. And, I kept it next to me for a very long time. And then I moved it to the bathroom where I was taking my spiritual baths to help infuse the water. And then I always keep a piece in my kitchen, again, to just help with that, your metabolism, your thyroid, keep yourself healthy and keep the communication flowing within the family, because the kitchen is kind of the center of your home. And I had a lot of vivid dreams and a lot of divine inspiration during this healing phase where I was kind of stuck in my bed for quite a while. And that really led me into the field that I'm in today. So, my third eye was super activated, my throat chakra super activated, and I was able to communicate all these like inner knowings and visions that were coming to me while I was healing from years and years of chronic pain and cleansing so many of the different medications that I had taken, during that time. And believe me, I was on plenty. So during those 16 years, there was a lot of cleansing I had to do, and appetite I really kept close to me. Recently, my husband had a surgery on his hand, which is not great for a chiropractor. Are we cutting off? Hi.
Hi. I have to. I know I usually just let you go and go. However,
Okay.
our guest is going to have to leave, and
Okay.
I want to make sure that I ask him one more time about giving out information. I gotta unblock his microphone. All right, Mama D, you're muted, and Gil,
Done.
you're unmuted. Okay. I'm so sorry, Athena. You can do your thing in just 1 minute. Okay.
No problem.
Your final thing there. But Gil, I know you have to go. I understand that. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm going to be calling for the consult.
Okay.
Because I am just at my wit's end, and I'm sure this is the type of thing that you get all the time.
Right.
It's like, we're just so fed up with doctors. We're just so done. I'm done. I am so done,
Done and dusted.
Yeah, exactly. So I will be calling you. So again, I'm just going to put these up here again for you people. Okay. ValleyThyroidInstitute.com. Go there and you can get your free 15-minute consultation and see where you go from there. If you go to drkajiki.com, there's plenty of information. What would be on there that they can find on this site?
The link to my book, and that's a really great place to start at your own pace. Right. I have a streaming video series that I created with Lisa Garr, and it gives you information about the triggers and testing and thyroid problems. And if you just are sick of it and you just want to get right to it, you can do a $97 30-minute consultation with me, and I will let you know what the next step is. Most people, they just don't know what to do next. And I will let you know this is the next step, whether it's with me or somebody else.
Fabulous. Right. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time and your expertise. And, I do hope that this show gets shared a lot.
It will.
Thank you very much for your time, ladies.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful
Thank
night.
you.
I'll be in
Have a
touch
great
with you soon.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Athena, your affirmation.
Yes, you need your affirmation for your appetite, because how do you connect to it without your appetite, without your affirmation, right?
Right.
So our affirmation for appetite here will be, I stand tall, knowing I am exactly where I am meant to be in this moment and free of doubt and fear.
That's fabulous.
Thank you so much.
And I definitely need some of that.
Yes, you do. I think we've talked about appetite for you before, actually.
Yeah,
so.
and I do not have that. I do not have that one. I just actually got a whole bunch of new.
I love it.
You know,
That's candy.
Yeah,
not candy. Don't eat that.
No, don't. But I can maybe.
It's rough on the teeth. Takes Jawbreaker to a whole new level.
There you go.
100%. Oh my God. I love it.
Thank you, Sharon.
I do hope that this show kind of got out the information. But seriously, if you read this book, you'll get to know him, what he went through.
It's a starting place.
Yeah, he really is like the guy. I'm definitely calling him. He's going to be sick of me.
No, impossible.
Next week's show, get this, okay? Simon T. Bailey, all right? Ignite the power of women in your life. And this is a guide for men. So next week, ladies, get your men to watch the show next week. This is a guidebook for men. All right? So, and it's definitely written that a man can read it. It's short little sound bites is what he's calling them, like little sound bites. So, it's not like you're reading a novel, you're reading sound bites. Okay. You can get them, you can understand them. And, all right. I'm looking forward to reading it, but, that's next week. So ladies, get your men. All right. But we, unless you guys have anything dire to talk about.
Yeah, that was great.
Guys, hold on, did I find it? Nope, I'm in the wrong section. I got too many things on here right now. Right here. Don't forget to go to Penhurst Paracon, right? PenhurstAsylum.com. Get your weekend passes. I think our $300 passes, all access and early and cut lines and everything else. I think they are either sold out or really close to being sold out. I think our indoor vendor tables are definitely sold out. We're talking about perhaps opening another floor. Not sure. We're going to try to make that happen. Not sure if it will. And we are opening more spaces outside now. If you have an outside space, you must bring your own tent and your own table and chairs to set up. We do have security. There will be more stars being announced in the near future. So besides that, I think...
and that's a wrap.
And I have a new exit video that Athena kept saying, you have to make a new exit video. And now here it is. Here it is. All right. So, ciao. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests. We stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, as well as all our Anchor FM venues. We hope you enjoyed our show, our guest, and our featured Crystal of the Week segment with Athena Bari, and we would also appreciate it and love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, like, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.